Who's first? Lady. Who's first? Lady. Who's first? Lady. What time is it? It's time for the ladies. 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 It's the Lady First Chit-Chat crew. It's time for the ladies. 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 It's the Lady First Chit-Chat crew. L-A-D-I-E-S, I-E-S, I-E-S, L-A-D-I-E-S, and we're up first. L-A-D-I-E-S, I-E-S, I-E-S, L-A-D-I-E-S, and we're up first. Speak what you want. Be great. Speak what you want. Be great. Speak what you want. Be great. And we're up first. Bonjour, unboxed. Bonjour, unboxed. Bonjour, unboxed. And we're up first. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. And we're up first. It's time for the ladies. 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 It's the Lady First Chit-Chat crew. It's time for the ladies. 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 It's the Lady First Chit-Chat crew. One time for the ladies in the house. Two time make the people scream and shout. Lachelle, Chandra, Crystal with Nikki. Unboss, Ed, May, and Nikki. L-A-D-I-E-S, I-E-S, I-E-S, L-A-D-I-E-S, and we're up first. L-A-D-I-E-S, I-E-S, I-E-S, L-A-D-I-E-S, and we're up first. Hey, 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 hey.
Never get enough. I never get enough.
I never get enough. Where your girl?
Shawnee. Well, while Shawnee's gathering herself.
Well, she's gathering. She's
Talk
being a
about
mom.
our girls.
She's being a mom this morning. We'll come and get you, Shawnee.
Yeah.
She sent me a text. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew, where we honor the voice of the everyday woman.
Yes, we do.
Hello, Shelly.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
I am good. Rebecca just said, hello, Kehoe.
Yes, you look beautiful.
It's too much.
We're giving skin this morning.
Miss Pat's not watching today because she has something to do, so I don't have to hear her say, don't you think that's a little much?
It is not a little much.
That's right. I am a lot of much, right?
Honey.
I am a lot of much.
Yes, we all are. We all are.
Yes. How are you, friend?
I'm very well. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited about our convo today. So many things have gone on in the world in this week that I was like, oh, this is so appropriate. So appropriate conversation for today. Yeah. I even got a text message from a friend of mine this morning who was waiting to board her flight to take her son to camp. And said in her text, I can't wait to get back because she moved from California to North Carolina as well last year or the year before. And she said, we need to talk. I feel like I'm losing my voice. And I said, watch the show when you land, because she's in the air right now. And she was like, will do. So it's sort of kismet that we're talking about this today, because I think a lot of people are feeling this sense of like, what is it that I really want?
Me too.
So I'm glad we're talking about it. And I miss our girls.
I know I miss our girls. As you guys can see, you like, it's Lachelle and Nikki. Shawnee is coming. Yes. You know, we're a mom of two now.
Yes,
she is making it happen.
Yes.
She is coming.
Two hands, which means no hands for self.
No hands for self. I know.
I know that story too well.
I know. Let's shout out to Autumn too. What's up, Autumn? We know you listening to us in the chat. What's up, Autumn?
Hello, Autumn.
And we're gonna shout out our ladies, Miss Crystal
Yes.
and Miss Nikki
On
Boss.
the road. On the road.
They're on the road doing family stuff. And speaking of moms, being supportive moms this weekend for their amazing children.
Yes.
And
Actually, it's so funny. Both of them are mothers of athletes, and that
yeah,
requires quite a bit of attention. So I'm happy that they're doing it, though. It's the season. It's summer season, so
mhm.
it's the season to be out and about and watching ourselves, watching our children. So I'm happy for them, and we miss them, though.
We do. We miss them. We miss them so much. Um, can I tell you something that happened to me before we get
Please.
into today?
Yes.
So I'm not gonna give all the details because I don't know if I can yet.
Okay.
So I got an email from someone saying that her client was coming to relocate into New York. Basically, she's going to be in a big show. So I'm going to
Okay.
say that. And they were looking for a trainer. And they basically said what they were looking for. Totally in my wheelhouse.
Of
Strength,
course.
endurance, hit, all that good stuff.
Okay.
Um, and spoke to the person yesterday and sharing with me about her client and this and that. And I didn't ask who the client was at first. And
Okay.
I just was saying, this is what I can do. And I knew some things. And I asked her, how did she hear about me? I thought maybe someone had recommended
Okay.
me. She said that she got a current list that said top trainers in New York City. And I was on the list. And
Well, first of all, you should have been on the list, but how surprising to be on a list that you didn't know.
didn't even know I
You
was
were-
on. I was sharing it with my class this morning, and she
Wow.
said that you
Wow.
know, she knew I had done something at the Hudson,
Okay.
and she says you have faith. She says that you have rave reviews
Not
from
surprised.
the Hudson, thanks to Lululemon.
Right.
But I was just like, what I told Rebecca yesterday, and I told Maya and them this morning. I said, "What list is this?"
Oh, send me the list. Right?
Because I know last year there was a list I was not on it. But
I
they
love
said
that.
I was on, she got this list that I was one of the top trainers in
I
NYC.
love it. I love it. You are one of the top trainers in New York City, honey. Top 5 if you ask me, but nobody asked me. But they put you on this list anyway,
Put
right?
me on the list.
Please, you need the list though, because I want to see that list.
I told Rebecca was like, what? I was like, what? And
Yeah,
her whole thing, by she said that she heard that I was more than push-ups and squats and
you
this
are.
and that. And so
Yeah.
yeah, so I was just it was nice. It
Yes,
was
but you know what? This lines up very well with what we are focusing on today because yes, girl. Yes, yes, good morning. Oh,
Yeah,
you look
I'm
beautiful.
here.
You look
I'm here.
beautiful. Yes, you are. We and we welcome you.
we welcome you.
Welcome you.
How are you feeling? You look great.
Oh, well, thank you. I feel amazing.
You
I
look
feel
amazing.
really good. I'm in a I feel really good today.
Good.
Um,
And so does Alec.
as you hear,
Hey, come through.
we were making good time. I was like, oh, we're doing it, and then a baby was a baby.
A baby was a baby, honey. Just
Blow up
in
everywhere, up the
all
back,
her baby glory.
carry like full,
Yes.
full. Oh, you got somewhere to go? Okay.
Okay, that's cute. That's cute, mommy.
All right.
I love it.
Ain't there a lesson in life, honey? Start
Yes.
making plans for yourself, because
Stop making plans, honey. Stop making plans.
God has other ones.
He sure does. And so what we were just sharing, friend, is that Nikki discovered that she is on top trainers in New York City list.
Oh, I was listening. I was here, honey. I wasn't on, but I was here. I heard it all. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah. That's right. Amen. And what I was saying is that it is so appropriate because when that person said, they heard that you were more than push-ups and squats, you really, Chandra and I have trained with you for years. You train from your heart and from this voice inside of you, right? Whoever's here watching, if you've never trained with Nikki, you will discover that training with Nikki is really like a wellness activity, right? She's not just saying, oh, you can dip a little lower than that. Give me 10, give me 20. She's actually feeding you with affirmations and she's checking on you through it. Like she's amazing. So, honey, you train from your voice. You train from your gut, right? It's not just this is what I learned and this is what I'm going to make you do so you can get the results you want. You're like, this is what you're going to do to get the results you want, but I'm going to make sure that you're fit in every way. So,
yeah,
I mean, we've said it many times. Do I sound like I have an echo? Because I'm in an empty room.
No.
Okay. But it sounds, I mean, me and Nikki have said this many times. Like, there's been many days that we didn't physically work out.
Right.
Many days. But
here.
We were here and here. And I feel like losing weight there helped the rest to just release.
That's right.
And granted, we're early birds, so we would get up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and if we needed to throw up some whatever, we just let it happen. But you know what I'm saying? Like that, a lot of people forget that part of wellness.
Yeah.
Working out, doing all whatever. Like it's a mental thing too.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm so proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank you. I was saying, I was like, I help you find your fit. I'm Michelle. So you help people find their fit. I help you find your fit. Help you find what makes you feel good. And sometimes doing HIIT workouts is not what you need. You may need a yoga class. You may need this. You may need that. But I think it's important.
Never what I need.
Yeah, so people find out what works for you. And I said to her, I said, my colleagues are amazing. And there are a lot of people out there. She asked me what makes me different. I said, there are a lot of people out there who tell you what to do, and it's good. But I help you find what works for you. That's what I do. That's what I do. And I said, that's what makes me different. So, today we're talking about turning up the volume turning up the volume so you can hear, turning up the volume so you can hear those messages, whether they're something you're seeing, something you're hearing, that's subliminal, right?
Yes.
Turning up those messages that service us, because sometimes throughout the years, we tend to turn up the volume on the things that aren't servicing us.
Right.
And we were talking on Thursday, a lot of that stems from cultural, how we grew up, what we were told as young kids, what we expect. So when something that got me growing up, my mother, or my mom and my aunts, they would always affirm me. Hey, pretty girl, intelligent, all this stuff. My mom would call me beautiful, but people in the outside world would call me cute. Nikki's cute. Nikki's this. Nikki's that. Nikki's that. The first time I dated a guy that said, hello, beautiful, I was like, who are you talking to? I was like I didn't know how to respond, because all my life in my head, I was cute and talented. I was cute and talented. She's a talented one.
The message.
And when that person said, hello, beautiful, I was like, and then it got to a point, this person called me beautiful all the time. I thought that was my name.
I love it.
Then I got into other relationships and no one said that to me again. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. But what it is the message was so, what's the word? Startling, right? Because it wasn't a message that you knew you were beautiful, but it wasn't a message you were listening to.
Right.
Because you were getting all of this, you're cute, you're talented, you're fast, you know what I'm saying? Like, you were listening to all that outside stuff and not hearing it. Like, the more you take in from the outside, the lower the inside volume gets. Do you know what I mean? It can't all be blaring at the same time.
Right.
So when someone said that, when he said that to you, I think it was so striking. Tell me if this makes no sense, but I think it was so striking because it actually did echo what the internal was, right? You were like, right? You didn't go, why you call me beautiful, right? Because that would have been if you didn't really hear that about yourself internally. But you were like, right? It's like, oh my God. Like, you see me, right? But every day without him saying it, we're not listening to that ourselves.
Right. But it's funny. And so now I'm hearing it again. Hello, beautiful. Hello, beautiful. And I'm like, I have to show y'all something. Wait, I'll be right back.
Okay.
So guess what I did the other day?
What did you do the other day? I love it.
I was in the store and I saw this.
Yeah.
I never find things like this. But I'm starting to hear that again.
But you know why you saw that? Because the universe is showing you what it is you are focused on.
I've never bought anything that said cute or this or and I saw it and I went back to it. I said, I'm gonna get that. And that's I wasn't even gonna talk about that today. I just thought of that. Anyway,
it's work.
Talking about listening and turning up the volume on messaging, and like you said, as a result of hearing that, I saw that because it probably was always, it was at Target, probably was always there.
Always, but you didn't notice it because you didn't have the volume up on that, right? We always have the volume up on the outside stuff, which is where Shawnee really kicked off our conversation on Thursday about this. And Shawnee, please speak to this a little bit. She was saying this like enlightened moment, this realization that her and her friend had about our girl Beyonce's new song. That is a banger. Boom, 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 boom.
Now listen, you Beehive folks, don't come for me, okay?
No, because it's a banger.
Don't come for me. However, I am not with the song at all.
Tell us why.
And the reason I am not with the song is because of the subliminal messaging that it is giving us, women specifically. And if you the chorus of the song is you won't break my soul. The title of the song is Break My Soul.
Yes.
What, sis? What's happening? What are we telling the people here?
Yeah.
And when you want something in your life, as we speak about manifesting and speaking over your own life, we always say, don't say what you don't want.
Exactly.
Speak what you want.
Yes.
And so if you are chanting, you won't break my soul over and over, you are inviting someone to break your soul.
Correct.
Literally.
So crazy, Shawnee. I just in the last few days watched Genius, the Kanye documentary.
Wasn't it amazing?
Phenomenal on so many levels. But what I realized, there was a scene in there that he said he was trying to write the lyrics to a song. And he was like, but I don't want to say that because I'm talking about what I don't want. I want it to be positive and I want to speak to what I do want. And I was like, yes, come through. And that's exactly the point you're making. Because when I first saw, I didn't know the song had come out. And my sister, who is probably the vice president of the Beehive, I don't know who the president is, but probably the vice president. I'm definitely a member. But she said, oh my God, did you hear B's new song? She's on a nickname basis with her. Did you hear B's new song? And I'm like, No, I didn't know she had a song. So I looked for it because when I listen to music, I listen to like my own playlist. I don't listen to radio a lot. So I looked for it and it popped right up and it said Break My Soul. And I was like, I literally was like, wait,
Yeah.
what's the title? And that's all I had seen before I heard it. And I do love the beat and the whole 9 yards. But I literally was like, oh, I don't want to, like, what does that mean? So yeah, I listen. So that's what made us start talking about the messaging, the ones we don't notice. I was speaking about family, Black people especially, right? When we grow up, they say things like money don't grow on trees, right? Made of money, right? Like there's all of these things, these messages that people are using, especially parents with their children to keep them in line, keep them from acting up, keep them from nagging them. But they really are planting these ideas in us that don't serve us.
Yeah.
You're muted.
Sorry. Go ahead. I was just saying, right.
Right?
No, because you think about, I know you do, you hear money don't grow on trees.
Mm-hmm.
And growing up, and you don't realize that those messaging that you keep hearing over and over again, some people, they, it doesn't stick with them, but some people, that's how they navigate. That's how they end up.
Nine times out of 90%, especially in the Black community.
Yeah.
It is 90% of those like sayings and cliches and all those things that, I mean, we live by. There's a whole game made off of these sayings because everyone knows them.
Yeah.
And we all kiki and laugh about it. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't think I want to keep saying that to.
No.
I don't want those things passed on to my children.
No. We're evolving.
Yeah, we are evolving. And also I feel like, back to You Don't Break My Soul, when you started talking about that, Shawnee, I didn't play that song today in my class.
Yeah.
I skipped over it. Yeah. I have been playing that song like as to stretch and stuff, and I went to touch it. Instead, I skipped and went to Tadra Call, nails, hips. I'm a big deal. I switched to that. But because I wasn't even thinking about that messaging. No. And it's so funny when we talk about messaging, even like what's going on in the world today. I know we don't really talk about topics in the news, but this Roe versus Wade thing, of course, is huge.
Yes.
And I just feel like what the Supreme Court has decided, that's a messaging that's going out to all, not just us, going out to everyone, going out to these young girls that are coming up. And I think I said this 2 weeks ago. What bothered me the most with that messaging and the messaging that I was seeing on television when they were showing these young girls all excited about, them overturning Roe and, pro-life and all that stuff. Fine. Your views are fine. I am considered pro-choice. But I think what was bothering me, the messaging keeps talking about abortion. And the message that needs to be said is it's about us as women having the choice to do what we want to do with our lives. I'm not a big fan of like, ooh, abortion, but I am pro-choice. I do feel like women have the opportunity to decide what works for them. And I feel like when they were showing on TV, like I got real mad. They kept showing this Black girl. I was like, they keep showing this little girl just going like this. And I know it was imaging and the messaging. And I was like, they know what they do because we switch to Fox. Because sometimes we switch to Fox just to see what they're saying. And the messaging that I saw what they were trying to put out there bothered me so much. And the other thing that I was so upset for the young girls, they didn't get it. They haven't lived life enough to know that they think they're out there speaking their voice and saying their voice, and they don't know what they just supported just silenced their voice.
Exactly. Exactly. How powerful to recognize that.
Yeah, I just, I'm,
Powerful.
I get everyone has their views, but it's
Sure.
just
And everyone can have their view.
can have their views,
The
exactly.
problem comes when you don't hear your own view that
Mhm.
serves your own soul because you are making a choice or being overwhelmed with information and messaging that tells you that what you're hearing is what you believe.
Well, what can we do?
Mhm.
And we talk about similar things. What what can we do? Because I know being on this show
Yeah.
and being with y'all, I did a big old Facebook post the other day. I shouted out the
It is.
LFCC. Um, I know that the volume has turned up for me with the things that we're
Turn
talking
the
about.
volume.
Yes, the internal volume
Yeah.
has turned up for me because what I'm hearing every week
Hmm.
are these
The messaging.
the messaging are these optimistic messages
Yes.
that are coming in. So internally, I'm being different, not just
Yes.
doing different, I'm
Yes.
being different.
Yes.
So what, but it was, I know there was a time I was listening to all the negative stuff. Like I was listening to this
Sure.
stuff like, I'm a mess. This a mess. I mean, Shawnee, you've heard me say it. I'm a mess. I'm not a
No,
mess.
not at all.
No, I'm like,
Listen, the moniker of our show is we honor the voice of the everyday woman, which means every day we believe that every woman gets to be what her voice is telling her she wants to be and she needs to be for her, right? And what we've learned, right? Because when you said, what can we do? What you can do, what we've been doing for over 2 years now, is we keep asking ourselves questions. What is it that I want? What is it that I want to release? What is it that I want to experience? What is it that I want to see? What is it that I want to feel? What is it that I want to do? Like that is the primary question that we can ask ourselves to help find your voice. And I've said this before, but you got to ask yourself these questions on the smallest, simplest scales because what is it you want to do related to Roe versus Wade, which is everywhere, or Beyonce's song, which is everywhere? That's the wrong place to start because those messages are big and they're powerful and they're coming constantly. Okay. So at the very least, you can keep them just outside the door, right? Don't pay attention to them for now and focus on like, what do I want to eat for breakfast?
Right.
What,
I'm,
right?
I'm, I'm,
Literally.
I'm so glad you said that. So my friend Rebecca, um,
Yes.
we will do things, and Becca would send me a menu. Like,
Okay.
what you want to eat? And
Right.
in my head, I'll be like, I'm not even there yet,
Mm,
But you just saying that,
no,
that is, that's
that's
perfect.
your
It's not
voice.
there. That's my voice. What do I want to
What do you
eat?
want to
What
eat?
do I want to make me feel good? What do I?
What do I want to do when I get up out the bed this morning?
Yeah. So sorry,
Now, here's
Becca.
the thing. Here's the thing about the voice, okay? Is I think what stops us from listening to our voice and turning up the volume of our voice and our voice only is there's this belief that it doesn't matter what I want because I don't know how to get it,
Mm.
right? So we're like, I'm not even going to ask. The point is, first you have to turn up the volume on your voice, even if you don't have a pathway to an action that will bring you what you know you want. The trick is to first know what you want. You first want to know what you feel like eating each meal. You first want to know what you want to do each day, even if what you already have scheduled for the day is already locked in, right? I'm going to go to work. I got to get my hair done. I got to take the kids here. Whatever it is, I drive someone to the airport. Even though you know when you get up out the bed that there's already 2, 3, 5, 20, whoever you are, whatever a number of things is on the to-do list. People are expecting you places. There's things you want to get done or you have to get done. Even if that's the case, first, when you wake up, is ask yourself, what do I want to do with this day? And hear that, right? This is about hearing your voice. And then get up and go do what's already on the books. But first, you have to hear your voice. And what we're doing is we are refusing to hear our voice because we're like, I want to go to the airport and fly to a tropical location today. But since I can't do it, I'm not even going to give my voice that attention. I'm going to act like it's not even there. And that's the problem, because when we do that, when we say, oh, maybe there's a little inkling, but I can't make it happen, so I'm not even going to pay attention, we open the door for all that outside messaging, because the space has to be filled, right? We're hearing every day. You are hearing every day. So if you are not hearing yourself, other people, other things, other people's agendas are going to fill your hearing space.
Absolutely.
But I think too, it's an opportunity, like you said, other people, other things. It's an opportunity too when you ask yourself, what do you want this morning? And you ask yourself, what do you want this morning? And sometimes we get to make that choice to implement things that gives us optimism on what we want in the what we want that day. Instead of like, sometimes I get to the point I don't want to turn the news on because I do not. That's not what I want this morning. That messaging.
Yeah.
So I
mean, it's so easy. It's so easy to just follow suit.
Yeah, but I would.
Think that,
and when
I think that's the. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. When I take a shower in the morning, I would listen to Shelly's podcast, or I would listen to Joel Osteen. The other day, I listened to Bishop T.D. Jakes. It's floating around on Instagram. Christian Dante White sent it to me. I need to send it to y'all. And I hit it, and it made me go listen to the sermon. And it was the messaging that I needed that day. Yeah. He said that the best things in life, and in my head, I was like, free, because we know that song.
Right. There's another saying. There's another saying.
And life are free. And he said the best things in life take time. And I was in the shower. I was like, oh. Yeah. He said the best things in life take time. And it was the on-time message that I needed to hear at that moment. And Shelly, he started talking about, speaking what you want and listening to what
he sent you back.
And sent you back to yourself. And I had asked myself, what do I want today? But it was just, I knew at that moment I needed a different messaging, so I didn't turn on the television. I was like, I wanted to be positive. I wanted to not be woe is me. I wanted to be positive and walk in a light. So I said, let's listen to something and implement a positive message in my life, and did not know what I was pushing was something that I needed to hear that day.
Right.
The best things in life take time.
Yeah.
But I was like, the best thing. He said, the best things in life. I said, free. Because
nothing is really free.
Nothing is free.
No.
Nothing is free.
It all costs you something, right? Time, investment, attention. It costs you something. And that's why knowing what you want is so important, right? Hearing. So I really challenge everybody to, every time you're about to do anything, say to yourself, what do I want to do in this moment? You're about to take a shower. as you're turning on the water and whatever you're grabbing your towel or whatever, say to yourself, what do I want in this moment? And actually answer the question for yourself, right? For me, if I did that, it would be like, I want my rose scented soap and I want my face cleanser because I want to wash my face in the shower. And I want this to be quick because I want to go lay down, right? Or I want this to take a while because my nose is congested. I want the steam to clear out. Like literally, it seems foolish, but the more you say, what do I want in your day, the more your volume of your voice gets louder. The answers, you won't be searching for the answers after a while. They will instinctually come to you.
I was just about to say that, and
Okay.
your capacity for how it will happen, like your
Expand.
capacity for allowing it to happen, how it will happen, will grow and expand. I mean, just as you're saying, as simple as taking a shower. Like we all know, when you get children, babies, that's almost non-existent. You know, you might take a shower at the end of the day.
All the way at the end.
Or, you know, whatnot. But this morning I was like, I want to take a shower before we do this. Right. Before lady first. Callie's on one hip, Alec on the other hip. I said, you about to sit right here on this floor, Callie, and here's a writing project. And Alec, you about to sit right. I should take a picture. They were on the floor of the bathroom.
That's right.
And I was in the shower.
That's right.
And I was like, I just needed that shower right then and there. But it was like, I was like, I want a shower, and how we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do.
And you
and I was
of them like on your hip and been like, oh God, well, I'm not, you're not paying attention to you. You're not here.
Yeah. And that I think also I was saying earlier, like the voice or the volume level of other people's needs and opinions and their own messaging for whatever, either it be good or bad.
No matter what it is.
No matter what it is, it's always just as loud, if not louder, if you allow it to be. Like, you know, just on making everyday decisions, right. You know.
Listen,
especially when you talk about eating food. Like, we would forget about the small stuff. We always think about like going to these large, oh my God, I have this huge decision to make. Am I going to, you know, live here or live there? Like, it's not, those decisions are not the ones that you struggle with daily. It's the small things that end up building up to these large ones where your voice is completely silent. Because if your voice is silent or your volume is low in these small every day-to-day decisions.
Yep.
What do you think it is when it means something for real? Right. You know.
It's so funny you said that as a result of starting, you know, like Michelle did the decks and in her journal and asking us those questions, basically, what do we want? And starting with those smaller, with those things, those items that are like simple, everyday things, it does start to get you confidence for the things that are a little bigger, you know? Yeah. I ran into a challenge this week, and I could have easily have listened to the messaging that was being said to me. I was being overpowered by a man, you know, telling me this. And before he was saying one thing and now he's saying another. And I could have fought that person, but I did ask myself, what do I want? And what do I know has already happened? And what do I know what can happen? And y'all, I said a prayer. I said, God, direct my thoughts, my actions, and my words. And I told you I'd never really done this with something that was a challenge or a conflict. I always feel like it was the first time in my life I realized that I say, oh, I'm giving it to God or whatever. and I'm really not. I'm putting my trust in man and want God to operate man. It was the first time that I was like, no, okay, I need you to handle this. And I'm realizing that I was there really because of the buildups and the simple things that I was able to watch and listen and have him trust and listen, that when I got to this big thing that could have been a make or break thing this week.
Yeah.
I stopped.
A new habit formed.
That I just gave it all up to him. And it was the first time too, Shelly, that I understood when you were saying, don't worry about the how.
Yes.
It was the first time that I understood too, you can't worry and release it and give it up.
Yeah.
God at the same time.
It wasn't the first time you understood it. It was the first time you felt it.
It was the first time I felt it.
Because you understood it.
I understood it.
I've been saying it forever.
I understood
you
it.
always understand it.
I would say it all the time. I felt it. I felt it. And I felt it. And I said, God, go in before me, went in.
Boom.
And let me tell you something. It was the first time that I really felt the message of ease, like I told y'all. And it was the first time I also felt like my mind had gotten blown. And in my head, I always thought it was going to look like something else.
Yeah. Simple. Welcome to simple. Ease. It's better over here.
It was simple. And it wasn't like, ooh, I feel ease. It was like,
you were literally ease. Ease in a challenge.
That's the phrase I say. It's called, that's the God in you as me.
God in me. Hey, that's exactly.
You know what I want people to be aware of, because Shawnee mentioned this a moment ago. It's the positive and the negative messages. Even if it's not your message, if it's not your voice, you will fall prey. I'll give you a perfect example about the positive, because I think people don't understand, right? I remember last year, a few friends of mine who I've traveled with before had invited me on it, not even invited me on a trip. They literally called me and was like, girl, we out in these streets, we getting ready to hit such and such, right? They were like, we going here, let's, get your flight. And I was like, that sounds amazing, but I don't want to go. Right? This was a good thing. These were people I like, people I've traveled with, a place that would be lovely for me to be at. It was a break for me, right? I could relax. But I'm so accustomed to listening to my own voice. As she was telling me, this is what we're doing, and she thought I would automatically be like, okay, bet, I'm down. My voice was saying no. And I was like, it was interesting to me because the voice was internal. My mind was like, why not? Right? Your girlfriend's a good spot, like all of this stuff. But I let her give me the spiel about what we doing. And then I was like, yeah, no, I'm going to pass. And she was like, what? And she spent some more time trying to help me understand and try to figure out why. Is it the flights? I'll get it on my card. I was like, no, it's none of those things. I just don't want to go. Right. And then we got off the phone and they went on the trip. But we got off the phone. I sat with it for a minute because my voice was so clear to this good thing, right? I was being offered this good thing that for all intents and purposes was something that I would be down for. I would plan myself. And I sat with it and I was like, why'd you say no? Right? I'm asking myself, why'd you say no? And it hit me. I took a minute and I realized I didn't really want to travel and pack. And I was feeling very comfortable where I was. And I was like, I don't want to stop this groove. Right. And for me, it would be more of the same. Wake up, be home, eat my breakfast, whatever. I literally was in that groove and didn't want to come out of it. And so, again, I could have easily been like, this is good messaging. Because it was, but it wasn't what I wanted. And so I want people to be aware. It's not just negative messaging. It's not just positive messaging. And it's not just messaging wrapped in a beautiful beat, right? Or the form of a free trip somewhere. it is all messaging has to go through the filter of your voice first. It has to.
Good. That's good. Also, earlier you were saying about just what I got from it was you saying that to acknowledge the voice of whatever that little thing is.
That's enough.
That you want to do, instead of, because you said something has to fill that space. So if it ain't your own voice, it's gonna be someone's voice. Like I know I do this all the time. I'm sure we all do. You be like about to do something and you're like, oh, I can't do it because I hear my mom's voice.
Right?
All the time.
I remember that.
And I just recently,
I told Shelly, I was like, "This too much." I can hear Miss Pat saying, "Look."
But see, just recently, I was like, "Oh, I can't do that because I hear my mama in the background." Blah blah blah. And I told myself, I was like, "Shit, you wrong with two kids? Do what you want to do."
Right?
But it's just that something will always fill that void. Yes. And so understanding that you have to either fill it or it will be filled by someone else, and being okay with taking that small step or whatnot. That's something I'm definitely working on.
Let me say,
I hear my voice pretty like in your face, like girl, loud. But I do battle with my mom's voice on a lot of things, because my parents were so like distinct and very like in your face with like their messaging of how we were raised. Yes. That I hear that all the time. Yes. In things that I do and how I raise my children and decisions that I make for my life. Like, even my sexual preference, it's something completely opposite of my family. And right. So I hear it all the time, and I always have to come back to my thing. I mean, my wife says all the time, like, you were the first person I knew that went with their own mind, like so young. Yeah. And I was like, regardless of my parents being so in your face with their messaging, they were still very in your face with, you better have your own mind about, other things. Right. And so I think that stuck.
Right. Along with the other stuff. Right.
Definitely.
The thing that I also there's a bonus that comes with turning up the volume and actually hearing your own voice. And that bonus is every time, I don't care how minute in terms of time, it could be a flash. Every time you listen to your own voice, you look for your own voice, God, the universe, the magician, whatever you want to call it, is also listening, right? A lot of times when we are functioning in our life because we're following the messaging of others, we often feel like lost. We feel like we're floating and we're not tethered to anything. We feel uncomfortable. And that's because the universe can't really support you in following and executing on someone else's voice. It shows up for your own voice. So when you allow yourself to say, this is what I want for breakfast, even though you're going to have something else. This is what I want to do today, even though you're going to do something else. This is what I want to do this summer, even though you may have something else planned. This is what I want to do is the part that the universe supports. It's the part that the universe starts to bring things into play to bring you what you desire. It cannot support you in executing and following someone else's voice, someone else's message. It can't. It doesn't function in that way. So I want you to recognize there's a bonus in asking yourself those questions and just answering them. Even if you feel you don't have the power to follow through and make those things happen, don't pressure yourself, because they'll automatically start happening eventually, because good things take time, right? But if you just start saying, this is what I want, and moving on to whatever it is you're going to do, the universe will already continue to be working in the background on getting you what it is you just said you wanted. Continue.
Oh yeah. Say it loud.
Yeah, I know.
We want that help. We need that help. But honey, it can't help me go on someone else's trip.
Ooh. Say that again. You can't help me what?
Go on someone else's trip.
Look.
Honey, it's like the airport. Speaking of travel, you know, when you go in the airport, because we've all been in the airport quite a few times recently. You know, when you're there, they're like, don't take anyone else's bag. Don't, like, that is a message.
Wow.
I mean, even deeper than that. You can go in a group. I travel deep when I'm in the airport. I got a baby in front. I got a baby in back. I got car seats and whatever. But guess what? When I go through those things, Callie has to go by herself.
Yep.
Autumn has to go by herself.
Yeah.
All those things have to go in by themselves. Now they let me carry the baby because she's a baby. Obviously, she can't walk, but
girl,
you have to go by yourself.
You do.
That's the message right there.
What is the message?
You can carry all that stuff, but at the end of the day, you got to do something alone.
Right. And they say, don't let anyone give you their bag.
It's so funny you said bag. I was right before you said bag. What entered my head was, I remember the first time I understood Erykah Badu's Bag Lady.
Honey.
Because I remember when it first came out, when it's the garbage, let it go, let it. When I heard it slow, and when she said bag lady, you gonna miss your bus.
You can't
hurry
up. You can't hurry up. You got too much stuff.
I went.
Let me tell you something. Because we said this at when I tell you full circle is going on in this show today, you said this at the very beginning. I am not too much. Your stuff can never be too much stuff for you to carry. It's yours. It's in every fiber of your being. It's in every cell. It's in all the blood pumping through your veins. It's in every feeling you have. It's yours. It is home. So your stuff is never too much. So when Erykah talks about you can't hurry up because you got too much stuff, it's not your stuff.
She's talking about the other stuff.
The other stuff. It's the other voices and the other messaging that you continuing to carry.
Yes.
Instead of
your own.
Your own.
Your stuff is yours. It's familiar. It's at home. And you may not even like some of your stuff, but it's not too much. It's stuff you can face, process, move out to make more space for the other things that you want to make bigger for yourself. But your stuff is never too much stuff. Honey, wow.
But everybody to what Carrie said. Carrie said that was a total aha moment. Carry your own damn bag. Right, Carrie. It's right, Carrie.
Right?
That's right.
Do you see what I'm saying? So
it goes, I mean, everything we say always circles back.
Oh.
I mean, it always comes back to even the analogy of the cup. Like, you cannot give from your cup. You have to give from your saucer.
Yes.
You know, the overflow.
Let me say this. I'm going to share this, right? So my sister Gabby, who is amazing, and she'll be on here someday. But my sister Gabby was definitely a bag lady, right? Carrying other people's stuff. And this comes to me in the airport. She and I have traveled multiple times over the years. And every time we travel, she always has a bag twice the size of what she needs, twice the size. And often will carry a bag that she literally has to carry because it does not have wheels, or the wheels don't work. So she has to drag it. I try my best to go in a carry-on. It definitely has four wheels that work very well. So I feel like I'm walking with nothing. But recently, in the past, I would say year, Gabby, and over the years, she has been dropping the bags and she has been listening to her own voice. And in the last two trips we took, honey, her bag was practically this small. And it, like, literally, I'm realizing in this conversation that I actually can see Gabby listening to her own voice.
Yeah.
She is packing lighter and she has bought a new suitcase where the wheels work phenomenally. And she's not taking a bunch of stuff, right? To be prepared for other people's things. And so, I mean, I literally can see her listening to her own voice, turning up the volume about herself and what she wants. So much so that she just took a trip by herself for the first time this past weekend.
Wow.
She literally, for the first time ever, and told me, I just got a carry-on bag and went alone. First time in her life. She is 50. First time in her life she ever traveled alone, and she loved it.
And what really sat with me was when you said she's listened to her voice and she's packing lighter. I can relate to that.
Right?
She's packing lighter, and as a result of packing lighter, she's feeling lighter. And as a result of feeling lighter, she's feeling better.
Right. And she's going places she's never been able to go before. Not because she couldn't, but because she didn't hear her own voice. It wasn't even on the agenda to go these places that she's never gone before. Because she was listening to everybody else's agenda and messaging and voice. So she was going where they wanted to go. Honey.
Wow. Wow.
This topic gave me chills.
It gave me chills too. My clock going up. You know.
I'm like clogged up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful thing when you can see it in someone else.
It was so beautiful to see that.
Yeah. Beautiful. Especially with someone that you love and that you have seen, quote unquote, struggle with it or whatnot.
Yeah.
You know.
Going to the airport with her was hard because I'd be like, she gonna have this big bag and she gonna be exhausted. She's not gonna be able to.
Have a kid. I mean, I travel light now, but I was that one for sure. I'm gonna bring everything just in case. You know, Michelle normally always has this, but just in case, I'm gonna bring it too.
That was her. Exactly. And so it feels good to see it. And then it role models, right? Because it reminds you, oh, I wanna feel like that.
Absolutely.
Right? It's like a check. It's a check-in. It's like, oh, I want to feel like that woman gliding through the airport with her little light bag. And it made her
hey,
her little light bag and her
I'm very, I don't know, is the word jealous or envious? Because I am, whatever the word is, of those people. When I see them, they just float through. And I'm like, you ain't got no family.
Exactly. You're all alone. Right. But when you do that, when you stop and you do that, automatically you already questioning yourself.
Right. Automatically questioning yourself. Yes.
It brings you back to you, which is what we try to do every time we get together on this show, is we try to bring us back to ourselves.
Yes.
Because everything is right there.
This once again.
Well, what's the charge? What's the charge? I think we got
the charge. Yeah.
Okay. I think the charge should be that for 7 days straight, every time you're about to do anything, you simply say to yourself, what do I want? You're about to open the fridge. What do I want? You're about to get in the shower. What do I want? You're about to get in the car. What do I want? You're about to take a phone call or a meeting. What do I want? You're about to do something for someone else. What do I want? That is the charge. Ask yourself, what do I want before every action? That's it. Nothing more. I'm not giving you any further instruction. You'll notice a lot of things, but I'm going to leave you to whatever that noticing will be. That's the charge. Ask yourself, what do I want before every action?
The charge for 7 days. Every time you get ready to do something, an action, ask yourself, what do you want? That reminds me of in my acting class with Christian Dante White. Before we do something, he always says, "What's the moment? What's the moment before? What's the moment before? What?
Right.
What?
That's what you want.
What do you want? Like, what do you want this character to portray before you say what you're about to say? Yeah. What do you want?
Yes.
All right, y'all. Y'all got the charge for 7 days. Every time you get ready to do something, an action, ask yourself, what do you want?
Mm-hmm. What do I want?
What do I want?
And what I want is for y'all to come back next weekend.
Come back next weekend. All of us will be in the house next weekend. Come back, y'all, because we are taking a break for the month of August.
Yes, we are. Get these last few in, honey.
With these last few, and we are taking a break for the month of August. And Shelly, Shawnee, Sean, and the crew.
Yes.
Callie and Alec.
Hey here, honey.
Thank you for today. We're turning up the volume on our voices. The charge for 7 days. Every time you get ready to do something, ask yourself, what do you want?
Yep.
Thanks for rocking with us, y'all. We love y'all. Have a beautiful day. It's beautiful here in New York City today. Yeah. I'll see y'all later. Bye, y'all. Hold on. Let me get myself together. I got a little.
I love that, Shawnee. You look like you in a photo booth. Let me get with you.
Look, everyone's saying thank you, ladies. This was very thought-provoking. Carrie said, love y'all. We love y'all. Have a beautiful day.
Who's first? Ladies. Who's first? Ladies. Who's first? Ladies. What time is it? It's time for the ladies. It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew. It's time for the ladies. It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew. L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first. L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first. Speak what you want. Be great. Speak what you want. Be great. Speak what you want. Be great. And we're up first. Bonjour, unboxed. Bonjour, unboxed. Bonjour, unboxed. And we're up first. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. And we're up first. It's time for the ladies. It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew. It's time for the ladies. It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew. One time for the ladies in the house. Two time make the people scream and shout. Lachelle, Chandra, Crystal with Nikki. On Boss, Edmay, and Nikki. L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first.